Hello everyone, my name is Hofstadter and welcome to another tutorial for Gary Grigsby's War in the West. Today I will be showing you the basic strategies that you should be employing in your 1943 Grand Campaign at the very start. Now, first off, let's talk about the air situation. Now, as a general rule, when you start the 1943 game, the first thing you want to do is your night fighters. Okay, let's bring up the commander's report, air groups. Now when you start the game, it's important to note that at the start, RAF Bomber Command only has 3 squadrons. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups I transferred down from RAF Fighter. Now, it's important that RAF Bomber Command has a lot of night fighters. This is because all the RAF bombers have a night setting, and if they go and bomb their targets without a lot of escorts, they're going to get ripped to shreds by the Luftwaffe, however you pronounce it. Now, as a general rule, you're supposed to transfer about 8 or so squads, so I will transfer 2 more just to show you how it works. Now, I already filtered out the Knights fighters in total in the commander's report. This will carry over for when you go into your air transfer mode. Over here you can see all the Knight fighters in every single group. Let's remove these because there's no point. As you can see, I transferred most of my Knight fighters down the Ashford Air Base down here, just to give them as much range as I can. Let's bring them up. I'll probably have to move them over here. Yep, I'll move all of them. Sorry. I still have to figure out how to properly filter everything out. We'll get rid of this one, RAF Fighter, just to get a better look. Let's clearly look at RAF Bomber. There you go. As you can see, all of the RAF bombers' current night fires have a good range because RAF bomber is going to be concentrated over here. Now, let's take out 2 more RAF fighter night fires and transfer them into bomber. Now, the highest range I think is these Bow Fighters VIF. They have a range of 570 more miles. So let's transfer 2 of them. Let's see what we have up here. That's a Mosquito. Let's transfer that one and move him down. I think it was this one? Either way. And Mosquito NF, what's the range on that? 522. Let's move him down here. Alright. Then you want to change over the HQ, so Bomber Commands. Yep, and there are the 2 ones that I transferred, so let's bring them up. RAF Fighter to RAF Bomber. RAF Fighter to RAF Bomber. There you go. I have now transferred a total of 9 RAF squadrons from Fighter to Bomber, and now they should be good for a lot of raids into this area. Okay. Second is Recon Squadrons. Now, primarily in the 1943, you'll be doing all strategic. It will pretty much be all strategic bombing. For this, you want to use a lot of high-level recon. That is recon that goes above 35,000 feet. This will be able to avoid all the high-level flak. A word on flak in the area. You can hold down the shift and press the O button twice to bring up all the flak levels. The number on the left represents low-level flak, everything firing up to 20,000 feet. The number on the right shows the flak firing up to 30,000 feet. So yes, you want to transfer as many concentrate your recon squadrons into one thing. Now let's clear a good way to clear it is to just go in here and clear all the filters. This will get rid of everything. Now, I want to look at Recon Squadrons. AC type. Recon. Now, let's see. initially your recon will be scattered across pretty much all of the groups. But what I like to do is find every single recon group that can fly above 35,000 feet, and then transfer them into one of the troop carrier commands, or the 8th or 9th USAF squadron. Which one did I do? Yep, I transferred a total of 94 planes into here. As you can see, the only groups that can go above 35,000 feet are the Spitfire PRXIs and the F5A Lightnings. So you just basically want to transfer them over to any group, any command you want, and switch their loadout to high level cameras. That will allow them to fly above 35,000 feet. Now, that is the two most basic things that you should do. There are quite a few other things, but I'll just link them into a couple of threads which you will find useful. Let's talk about first off air directives. You only have two basic areas of play over in Dusseldorf and the Hamburg region. In the game, your victory points are decided by... hang on, let me check something. Okay, it's recording. Good, I made that mistake yesterday. That was so bad. Okay. In the game, your points is primarily defined by your VPs in bombing. With the U-vote VPs, you'll constantly gain negative points, and this is up to a maximum of 6, I believe. Yeah, it's a maximum of 6 points, but the more sub-pens you can take out, the less negative VPs you will attain. And pretty much all of these sub-pens can be found in a 10 hex region around this area. The way you do this is to assign usually 8th US Air Force into bombing Hamburg and switching it to a 10 radius. This will try and attempt to take out a few of the U-pen boats, but in my experience it will only attack 3 cities, but it should do enough damage that should take them out for quite a while. If you want to go try and be more precise, you can use a couple more just 1 or 2 bomber squadrons. Usually you want to assign about a total of 100 planes to a massive air directive like this. But if you wish to be more precise, you can assign a 0 hex things to up here, here, basically anything around here, and that should be more precise, but it won't generate that many points of damage. It will be repaired in the next turn. I have another save, so I'll bring that up. So yes, 8th US Air Force, they'll be doing daylight bombings in here and over here. Now let's talk about the bombing of this region here. The other major point generating factor is bombing VPs. This is the degree to how much damage you can inflict on several key industries in Axis production. There are 4 of these. These are German heavy industry, oil, fuel, and manpower. Now, to attack manpower, you want to assign this to your RAF Bomber command. This is because RAF Bomber primarily has incendiary devices. This is because incendiary devices have a massive effect on... well, it's just more effective against manpower. So you just want to give that to them. And you also want to check your loadouts of each one to make sure they are carrying incendiaries. Usually all the Halifaxes and Lancasters do have incendiaries. Then you can assign the rest of the level bombers to whatever you want. I don't know, maybe taking out a couple more U-pens if you wish. Or you can maybe take out heavy industry down in Schweinfurt, somewhere around here. Then you want to assign the 8th US Air Force to a heavy industry one, which is pretty simple. This will primarily attack heavy industry, and it should do a huge amount of damage on the first turn, about 35% for every attack. And let me water. An important thing to note is that you'll want to divide your groups to the proportion of how much damage you want to do. I have allocated 11 groups to this area because I want the most amount of damage. But over here, you don't really need to do that much damage. This is very important to note. Every single U-pen you attack literally only needs 1 point of damage for it to count as reducing the amount of negative VPs. So you can just send one pissy little group, have it do 1 point of damage, and boom, that's all you need to do to reduce that level of VPs to, you know, a percent. It really doesn't matter, it just has to be damaged even a little bit, just a tiny little bit. Alright. I might not let's just have a quick squiz at the air directives down here. Pretty simple, it's just ground attacks in interdiction levels to attack airfields, you know, do minor retreating damage when I invade. Nothing special. Is there anything? Oh yes, I did forget to mention about recon. Pretty simple, you just want to recon these two areas at alternating days, targeting everything that matches up to your bombing. That's not that important. What else? RAF Fighter Command. It's also a good thing to set up an air superiority directive around this area, because the Luftwaffe, they will be drawn to this area to maybe take out some of your oncoming bombers, and this will just help kill them. Now, what else? What else do I have to talk about? I think that is it for now. Yeah, that's fine. Let's talk about the invasion of Sicily. A lot of people I see actually use 4 of their amphibious naval things, but you actually don't need that many. You only need 2 to do a complete takeover of Sicily by turn 6. And really, I just use these 2 ones at the end here. Everyone else, these 4 ones here, here, and here, I actually send these guys into this area here. There is an AAR I will link to in there. One guy actually only sent 2 TFs here, but for some reason the AI was so obliviously stupid that they didn't even try to contain him. That dude was able to advance up here so incredibly quickly that he managed to kill off a good 3 turns, because he didn't have to keep bashing his way through constant defensive lines, which is quite annoying because I have to do a frickin' slog the whole time all the way up there. Another important thing to note, you don't need this island, it's completely pointless. I don't think there are any decent cities here, but you do want this island because it has air bases, and you'll be able to transfer a lot of your air bases up here to assist in Operation Dragoon, which will invade into southern France, which will be in either early 1944, maybe, or late. Depends on when you want to launch it to coincide with Operation Overlord, and when you can expect those forces to link up. Another thing to mention, what I like to do, get rid of these stupid things. You have 4 armored units in here. These are here, over there, over there. What I like to do is put them all under the command of this dude here. This is the 7th US Army, headed by George S. Patton. You can see his stats here, and he has a mech of 8 and an initiative of 8. This will give all of his units a massive amount of movement points, and you want to do this if you want to go for a really, if you want to maximize the amount of movement points that your armor has. Let's go out of this for now. I'm going to my next turn, which I saved. Alright, and 2. Let's take a look at the VPs quickly. Look at that. This is so rare. I'm so happy with this. I actually managed to reduce it down to -1, but I think I took a lot of losses here. So far I only have 5 bombing VPs, but that's pretty much expected in the first turn. We can bring this up. Alright, these are all the air directives up here. Oh man, I can't click them open, can I? No, I can only do that at the start of the turn, bugger. That sucks. Either way, I took out a few... maybe... No. Either way, I did take out a lot of the U-boat factories. I'll still have to take out this one and this one to really maximize the effect. But -1 is extremely good, because most people only get around... expect -3 per turn, and you're lucky if you can get up to -2 on 1 turn. But for now, that should be pretty good. Or if you want, another choice is to completely ignore the U-boats. I probably wouldn't do that because there's another AAR that completely ignored the U-boats and only hit them in the rainy seasons for some reason. I don't know why, but he was able to concentrate all of his bombing on this area, which I guess helped the bombing VPs increase and reduce the offset of those U-boat VPs. Now, I think that's all I wanted to talk. As you can see, I have 4 units in 3 units inland because one of these TFs carried a commander division, and these will be enough to take out all of Sicily most of Sicily by turn 6. There's no point in taking Messina, absolutely no point whatsoever. I don't see why you want to take that, because you're not going to be able to invade the freaking toe, because that unit's going to be there and kick your ass. So this unit can take out this one, and these can take out these with absolutely no fuss whatsoever. Also important to note, paradrop troopers. There are 2 paradrop troopers that are located here, around here, with transports. You cannot use, don't even bother using them to attack this area. You can't use them to attack anything except here. This is because all the transport carriers are out of range of everything useful. You don't even want, there's no point. So if you do want to use the paratroopers relatively early, the first thing you want to do is when you take out as many airfields as you can, you just want to transfer them up and move your paratroopers. I'll just probably be using them to take out this area a little bit more quickly so I can move up more fighter squadrons and coastal forces because they're all relatively low range. One of the bad things about taking out this area is because a lot of your fighters are out of range, so it becomes a choice. You could move all your fighters up here instead. Actually, that's what I think I'll do. I'll move all my fighters up here as much as I can to increase air superiority and reduce the level of naval interdiction on my hexes, because I have a tendency to lose a lot of soldiers when moving up because of bombers screwing around with everything. But I think it's worth it because it's the best area to invade, because it has so much open ground. It just makes life a lot easier for your armored units. Historically, they also invade, the Allies also invade around, whereas Salerno up here. And look at that, it's just mountains. You're not going to get freaking anywhere with that. Besides, if you do invade up there, the enemy defensive line is going to be up here, and then you have a whole bunch of units containing your invasion here. It's just not worth it. Because the general rule of thumb is that as soon as you invade, all the enemies are going to come scurrying to make your life a living hell. Now, I'll come back in about 10 turns or so, maybe 5, maybe 6, depends on what's more interesting, and I'll explain my plans and go through this in like an AAR kind of style. I'm not actually going to go through an LP kind of thing, because I tend to save and load a lot because I kind of suck at this game, but all the same, I soldier on because it's just that much fun. Alright, I think that's all for now. Join me back in a few turns.